Today we are working with liquid watercolors. I will also show you how I generally prepare a traditional painting and how I then execute it on paper. Hi and welcome back, or nice to meet you. I'm Elena, artist and content creator, and in this video, you and me will have an explanatory and fun paint with me session together. I will show you how I made this art piece work, because spoiler, this wasn't my first attempt. I will also show you how I generally prepare a traditional painting and how I then execute it on paper. Today we are working with liquid watercolors, but more on that later. Please don't forget to give this video a like, comment and subscribe. You're supporting the channel by doing so for free. Okay, let's jump right into it. I had the idea for this spring painting a few weeks ago and drew a rough sketch in my sketchbook. Always write and or draw your ideas down as easy to understand as possible, because there were a few times at which I thought, what the f did I mean with that? No matter how weird or not well thought through your idea is, write it down. I decided that I want to celebrate all seasons this year, so you can expect many new season-inspired artworks and products from me. And as it happens, we start with my favorite season, spring. I lived my best boomer life over the last couple of weeks with less social media, and I took many flower reference pics. I worked on finding a simpler and playful look for some of my favorite spring flowers. I started by drawing them realistically and then developed my own style for them. Also, funny side note, I always thought that pansies look old-fashioned. And when I started to pay more attention to their different patterns, I fell in love with them. I think my small Miffy mug I got in Japan last year. You can take a look on said mug in the video that currently pops up in the right corner. This mug was my first hint that I love spring-inspired art, and it inspired me to bring my own spring creations into the world. Wow! Wow! Okay, these colors are way better. Oh my god, I'm so pumped about this green. I kind of look like a mess because I just came from my part-time job. Actually, I didn't want to buy my liquid watercolor from Talent's Eco line anymore because I wasn't vibing with the colors I had. For example, this red. It's way too pink and stuff, and I know that I can mix them myself. Okay, when I'm sitting... I have a wide angle lens, and when I'm sitting here, I will look weird. So I need to hunch over here. And now I got exactly the colors I usually use for my drawings and paintings. I wasn't aware of it anymore. I don't know why, that they have actually exactly the shades that I'm using. I'm so pumped, especially for the green. I got these because actually I only wanted to get a new yellow because I ran out of mine. Then I saw these babes and I was like, I need this. And I got them from Bösner. It was even cheaper than on Amazon. Support your local businesses. Welcome to my new super cool paint box. It's actually an old cassette case and it's bright red. I love it. This is a glass bottle that I think had my vitamin B12 in it. After using it up, I looked at the bottle and thought, this would actually be very helpful for adding water accurately while painting. So I gave it a good rinse and it became part of my painting materials. Do you also have a tiny box with itty bitty eraser pieces in it? Honestly, I used none of these paintbrushes. I ended up using the one I didn't pick up in this footage. This is how I prepare my traditional paintings if I want to be more on the safe side. Since I follow my own advice, I gather all my sketch ideas that I captured in my sketchbooks and take photos of them. Afterwards, I arrange all photos of my sketches to one collage, which will be the blueprint of my painting in the end. My first problem with this painting, and also with some in the past, was finding the right colors. I came to the conclusion that black outlines will be too harsh for this painting, which is why I decided on green outlines. During the process of finding the right colors for my painting, I turned off the layer with the outlines and stumbled across the following two versions, which reminded me of Japanese woodblock prints.
Oh mein Gott, das ist ja so cute. Cute.
I like them very much, and I'm pretty sure that I will make something out of them. But for this painting, I wanted to focus entirely on the theme of spring and leave out Japanese influences. First, I wanted to create a shadow falling from the snowdrops onto the bunny and add some texture with my crosshatches, similar to this drawing of mine, but it was too busy for my painting, which is why I decided on a similar layout to the green Japanese woodblock print version.
Not sure.
I'm using the Hahnemühle bamboo mixed media paper here, and yes, I'm tracing my outlines on my new iMac. I do have a light table, but since I already have a digital finished version of the outlines, I simply trace from the screen. Work smarter, not harder. I always give my watercolor paper a wet wash for the background of my painting. I love the spring green.
Oh God, I love it. Wow, it's so punchy. I'm so glad that I bought these. Wow. Okay, that's very dark. Oh, nice.
Talent's Ecolane colors are so vibrant.
I love that.
Yeah, I changed my mind very quickly in the next seconds.
Okay. Not sure how I feel about that. Okay, that color is way more blue than I thought. But maybe it will look different when it dries. Why is it doing that? Stop bleeding. Maybe I used too much color. Maybe I should have used way less color. Maybe I should go for a more pale look. I mean, I have no idea how I should rescue that one. No, that's way too pale. What a bummer. What should I do?
Okay, I might destroy the whole painting now, but I need to try this because I am absolutely not vibing with this color. Hopefully the paper will not be too mad at me. And this is when I screwed up my painting. Okay, I managed to get this green a little bit more light. My plan is to use one of my pencils, so this green, and add it on top of this. But this definitely needs to sit for a while to be completely dry. Yeah, I'm not sure. The green color pencil looked too busy on this painting, and I ran into my next problem. How to separate the line between two things with the same color. Black outlines, light green, pastel green with black outlines, none of them convinced me. And then I had this idea in the middle of the night, which I immediately wrote down: red outlines. I drew pretty thick red outlines at my second attempt. Fortunately, I learned from my first failed painting and started doing color swatches beforehand. Genius, I know.
I am scared. I'm not scared, I'm excited. Super excited. Okay.
And then I ran into my next problem. The red outlines, I really liked them, especially in combo with all the green and yellow tones, but you could still see how the colors bled into each other.
Stop bleeding. I guess I shouldn't use water. Yeah.
Which led to darker red spots. Many dark green swatches were made and it was still too saturated. I tried to save my painting again by adding water and removing paint again. I learned that you need to be super quick and do confident brush strokes when you apply liquid watercolors directly onto your paper and don't do a wet wash beforehand. Also, do not add more color unless you want more saturated colors for your painting.
Okie dokie. Okay. That's red. Maybe I should have made blue or green outlines for the red. It's almost maybe a bit too dark.
Foreshadowing!
I hope that it's a little bit more light when it's dry.
Yeah. The red also turned out too saturated because, surprise, I used too much color and I tried to save it by, you guessed it, adding water and removing paint. The contrast between the crocus and the pansies was too big for my taste. I like the color shade of the second pansy the most. It gave me a little hint what I should have done differently. I was proud how the daffodil and flower in the back turned out though. Same mistake here, I used too much color for the bunny. I traced the outlines a second time to cover up some of the dark red spots, but it only helped to some extent. Okay, sure, I could have corrected the painting digitally, but I wanted to have a nice original to hang up, and after all that work, I wanted to hold a pretty painting in my hands. And this is me realizing I had to do it all over again for the third time.
This is the worst!
Before I started my third painting, I checked how my 𝗕𝗂𝘀𝗀𝗃 alcohol-based markers are doing on the bamboo paper, because I haven't used them on this paper in years. Luckily, I had exactly the shade of brown I needed for the bunny, and the marker did really good on the paper. And now I have to confess that you won't see me creating this painting for a third time. I wanted to fully concentrate on the painting and not get distracted with finding the right angle for my camera and so on. But here's what I did differently. In the end, I did exactly what I thought about while working on my iPad. I used pastel colors, so very slightly saturated colors. I also used softer red outlines, and the combo of the two reminded me of this book from the Ghibli Museum in Mitaka and Studio Ghibli sketches in general, because they tend to use, I'm pretty sure it's watercolors, very gentle and soft on their rough sketches. I like that look. Thank you for holding my hand while I created this painting and for watching this video to the end. Let me know in the comments what your favorite spring flower is and also why. Subscribe if you enjoyed this video, because there will be more. The biggest thank you and kisses for my patrons. If you want to see BTS content of my work and my life and you're into podcasts, you can get all of that if you join my Patreon. The link is in the description. I will see you in my next video. Bye.